What is real beauty? Wendy was looking at her Facebook. There were yoga photos, selfies photos, and breakfast pictures. She saw photos of fresh bread, fried eggs and coffee with hearts in the milk. In another apartment, Brian was also doing the same thing. His Facebook was full of gym selfies and beach life holiday photos. Wendy put some flowers next to her breakfast and took a photo of it. Her eggs and coffee were cold now, but the plate still looked good. The plate was from an expensive art market. She had borrowed the flowers from her neighbor's garden, specifically, Mrs. Robinson's garden. Everyone likes flowers, right? She thought. If she put the picture on Facebook, more people would see the flowers. Wendy changed the colors on her picture to make the orange juice more orange, and the pink roses brighter. She was choosing in Facebook filter when she noticed Beautify. She had downloaded it the day before, and then forgotten about it. Her picture looked perfect with that filter. She posted the photo for her 20,000 followers. She hoped that some of them would feel jealous of her life. Then she threw the food on her plate into the bin. She didn't want to eat it now that it was cold. Brian was ready to give up. He had worked out for an hour, and he had put cooking oil on his skin so that it would look shiny. But the photos still didn't look good. He only wanted to be fit so that he could put photos on social media. He looked at his Facebook again. He hoped to see some ideas he could copy. Then he noticed an advertisement for Beautify. Pictures as beautiful as you are. See the real you with Beautify. Available in your app store for free. That's what he needed. He downloaded the app. In just a few moments, he had the perfect selfie. In the photos, his body looked amazing. He posted the photo for his 30,000 followers. Then he got in the shower to wash off all the cooking oil. He remembered reading about all the fat under the city, in the sewers. Millions of people lived in his city. Most of them washed their cooking oil down the sink. The oil went to the sewers. It made a disgusting mess and some poor worker had to clean it. Or did the oil go into the ocean and kill dolphins? He couldn't remember. But it wasn't his problem. It was someone else's problem. Both Wendy and Brian were surprised to get so few likes. And they weren't prepared for the negative comments they received. Remind me never to get breakfast at your place. Commented by Susie Q. You, disgusting. Commented by Jim Guy 21. The rest of the comments were even worse. Both social media influencers looked again at the pictures they had posted. Wendy's picture showed horrible eggs with flies all over them. The flowers were dead, and the coffee looked disgusting. In Brian's picture, his body was covered in something that looked like dirty butter. It was in his hair and in his nose. And, worst of all, his hands were really dirty. It looked as if he had been digging in the garden. They both tried to delete the photos, but they couldn't. The negative comments kept coming. In a way, it was Wendy's most popular post. And 50 people had shared Brian's post already. Just then, everyone who had installed the Beautify filter received a message from the person who had created it. Wendy and Brian read, "Dear user, thank you for making Beautify such an amazing success. 50 million downloads in the first 24 hours. Wow! It's more than I ever hoped for. Honestly, guys, I am so blessed. I know that each of you really, truly cares about showing yourself as you really are. Are you as beautiful on the inside as you are on the outside? If you want your pictures to show the real you, it's time to be as beautiful in real life as you are on your social media. Have a truly beautiful day, beautiful people. Love. Beautify. P.S. Oh, and by the way, you can't remove the filter or delete the pictures you posted using it. Also, after the first time you use Beautify, it will change all your photos from that moment on. For the next 24 hours, not many people posted photos online. There was only one way people could see if the filter was still destroying their photos. They had to post pictures first and then see how they looked. The results were not pretty. A few of the biggest influencers offered a reward. They joined together to offer £1 million for the first person to remove the filter. But they couldn't post a picture of themselves holding the money because the pictures were so ugly. So they had to stop advertising the reward. The person who developed Beautify was too clever, and no one could remove the filter. Wendy stopped trying to take pictures after 5 more horrible pictures. She couldn't remove the Beautify filter. The only thing she could do to hide the ugly pictures was to make her account private. Now, no one could see anything she had ever posted in her life. She felt depressed. She didn't want to do anything if she couldn't post photos of it. She went downstairs, past Mrs. Robinson's garden. The flowers were more beautiful than ever. She noticed the smell for the first time. Lovely. She stopped and smelled a large, purple rose. Hello, said Mrs. Robinson. Wendy was surprised because she didn't know Mrs. Robinson was there. Oh, sorry, said Mrs. Robinson. I was just putting water on the plants. At this time of year, there's always so much to do. Wendy looked around. She hadn't realized it was hard work to make a garden look nice. In fact, she had never really spoken to Mrs. Robinson. She had a new thought. Do you want some help? Wendy asked. After all, she didn't have anything else to do. Oh, thank you, dear. That would be lovely. Mrs. Robinson looked delighted. Wendy actually felt happy for the first time since the whole Beautify nightmare had started. A couple of hours later, to be honest, Wendy didn't think the garden looked very different. But Mrs. Robinson said she had been a great help. Wendy had enjoyed herself a lot. Mrs. Robinson had been an actor in the past, and she had some amazing stories to tell. Take a picture of us, dear, said Mrs. Robinson as Wendy was leaving. One of those selfies everyone loves. Wendy almost said no. What could she do with photos now? But Mrs. Robinson would be happy with an ordinary picture. Wendy supposed she could take one. She took a quick picture of the two of them. They were standing together in front of the roses, smiling and looking a little bit shiny and hot. Later that evening she looked at the picture on her phone. She changed the colors a little bit. But the roses looked beautiful anyway, with or without any changes. And nothing could improve the smiles on her and Mrs. Robinson's faces. That's a really beautiful picture, she thought. It's a shame Beautify will destroy it if I post it. But then she had a thought. She went back and read Beautify's message again. And then she posted her picture. When the picture went online, it looked exactly the same. She made her account public again. Then she added some text to the photo. Me and my neighbor in her garden. One of Wendy's followers, Brian, saw her photo. At first, he was just pleased to see a nice photo for a change. He hadn't been to the gym for 2 days. He supposed he was kind of depressed. Maybe he felt bad because he hadn't exercised. Or maybe it was because of all the horrible, ugly photos he'd seen. Then he had an idea as he read Wendy's post. Maybe it wouldn't work, but it was worth trying. He picked up all the paper, plastic, and glass in his house. He put it into 3 different piles. Then he looked again at Wendy's picture. He went and knocked on his neighbor's door. He asked her if he could take her rubbish to the bins. The young mother who answered the door was surprised at his offer of help, but she said yes. While Brian was at the recycling bins, he took a photo of himself next to the green glass bin. He posted the smiling selfie with the hashtag Beautify. He saw that Beautify was the 5th most popular hashtag. His picture, like many of the others, was nothing special. It was just a smiling guy. A guy who was doing something ordinary after helping his neighbor. It was a truly beautiful photo. What do you think about beauty? Let us know in the comment below. And please don't forget to subscribe for more stories. Thank you.